Welcome to Fresh Ball Fall. It's the season of pumpkin spice and making sure your crotch looks nice. That means sipping cider in a fall breeze and using Manscaped products to trim your balls with ease. That's right, today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, a company here to make sure that your foliage isn't the only thing shedding its excess leaves. Heck, even Mother Nature knows it's time to lose the excess clutter for fall. Join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping when you use the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY. Whether you're brand new or already with us at Manscaped, you could use the crown jewel of care for your family jewels, the Platinum Package 4.0. This glorious package, you can align your entire hygiene routine all in one swoop. Inside the 10-part Platinum Package is everything you know and love about the Performance Package, plus some shower goodies included to elevate your grooming game to platinum. You can now completely upgrade your shower routine with the Ultra Premium Body Wash and Ultra Premium 2-in-1 Shampoo and Conditioner. You'll have your skin and hair feeling hydrated and smelling fresh. Don't forget to apply their aluminum-free Ultra Premium Deodorant. And don't worry, it's not pumpkin spice, it's a cologne-quality fragrance. Get the Platinum Package this fall. These products are guaranteed to be hits for your dangly bits. Go to manscaped.com to get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com when you use the promo code BELLYUPFANTASY. Manscaped, clear out the leaves. It's your tree trunk's time to shine.
That's right. It is our time to shine, and we are back for another episode full of the Combat Deviants. I'm your host, as always, Steve Rochelle. Riding solo tonight. We got some fuse changes that possibly might be happening in the works. I don't know. We'll see what happens, folks. But that being said, episode 13 here. We're gonna be going over UFC 282. We're gonna be talking a little Bellator 289. We have one of our fellow Belly Up members, Cage Side, covering Bellator MMA tonight. So big love to him. Make sure you guys are checking out his articles that should be going up in the coming days. Lots to unpack. Combat sports this week. We got gambling, fixing fights, guys being removed from the UFC, coaches being removed from Cage Side. It's a whole mess. Mills Lane, rest in peace. He passed away. Ariel and Patty are beefing. Conor McGregor and Artem Lobov are beefing. A lot of crazy stuff happening in combat sports. But obviously this episode is brought to you by Manscaped. Make sure you guys are using that Belly Up code. Anyone using that code, make sure you send me some screenshots so we can get you entered in to another giveaway. Make sure you guys are following all of our platforms for Belly Up: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and we got some fun giveaway stuff. There's some more other stuff's in the works that we're going to get ready to announce in the next few weeks, hopefully. So make sure you guys are locked in on all the platforms, both Belly Up and obviously make sure you're showing Combat TV and some love as well. But with that being said, we have we have a fun one this week. We're going to be talking to Mike the Truth Jackson. He should be joining us here in a few minutes. Lots of stuff going on in the combat sports world, especially with this whole. I guess I'm going to kick it all off right now with the whole Paddy Pimblett and Ariel Helwani stuff that we're getting a hold of right now. I guess I want to be asking the fam: Are you team Patty or are you team Ariel? I don't know if you guys seen the headlines this week. Obviously, Patty was on Dana White's podcast, and no love lost between Dana and Ariel. So, he was throwing him on the bus, calling him a content creator. Meanwhile, Ariel has won I think the 13th year in a row the Combat Sports Media Member of the Year. So you definitely got to be be very careful when you're and tread very careful when you're talking about Ariel Hawani and his knack as a journalist. I'm definitely team Ariel here. Patty asking him to pay him to interview him. I'll say it here. I've never paid for an interview for an athlete. Anyone I've interviewed, from NFL athletes to major league athletes to big name MMA fighters, UFC Hall of Famers, freaking Dana White. I mean, never had to pay for an interview. I know some people may be upset about how Ariel goes about things. You may say he's a snake. You may say he's a weasel. Don't really see that. I mean, I don't really care for how he goes about things, and maybe a little bit of a whiner when it comes to things. But I guess I'm definitely team Ariel here. As tough as it is for me to say that, anyone who knows me long enough knows I'm definitely not team Ariel Hawani. But in this case, in this instance, I mean, Patty Pimblett, jumping on Dana's back, dog and Ariel. Memory serves me. Ariel was one of the guys that was putting Patty on the show when he was still, Cage Warriors before he really kind of taken off here in the UFC. So it's definitely an interesting take. I would love to hear anyone who's on Team Patty for this one. I want to hear what people are thinking when it comes to that. See if anyone feels the same way that Patty does. Anyone agreeing with it? I don't know. I think a lot of people feel for Ariel on that. I think he makes himself a target at times, unfortunately, because he is I guess quote unquote the biggest combat sports media personality, on air personality that we have when it comes to the combat sports world. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely team Ariel here. So gotta say, interesting. And speaking of interesting, I don't know if everyone's heard, but obviously, James Krause and a few of his fighters have been removed from the roster. There's been, investigation. Canada's basically shut down all UFC betting for all intents and purposes, pending investigation. There's some things in question from my understanding. One of his fighters was banged up going into a fight, and James had been doing a whole lot of talking on social media for quite some time about how much money he makes off of betting and things of that nature. And he, put it out there to bet on the, got some money going back the other way against his opponent, wound up playing out that way. TKO stoppage, I believe it was, to an injury. Not saying it's the right thing to do what he did, but that might have kind of fallen all along the line of what this whole fallout was about. Just, putting it out there publicly, publicly betting against your fighter, after the fact is definitely a rough one to kind of wrap your head around. It's, I guess, unethical at best, but what are you going to do? What are we going to do about it? So, I mean, do you really think that James Krause was fixing fights? I mean, obviously, we don't want to think about that when it comes to combat sports, but, I mean, it's definitely a real possibility that, there could have been some more than unethical things going on right there. Does anyone else out there think that James Krause and his teammates are capable of throwing fights, fixing fights for money? Won't put it past it the way people publicly complain about the UFC pay scale and how things work out with that. So definitely wouldn't put it past them, but I mean, not saying because I've interviewed him in the past. I mean, we've heard some things from former fighters, former training partners, etc. about some things, but I don't see it. I don't know. Maybe I'm being naive here. We'll see. We'll see how this whole plays out. We'll see if it sticks. The them being suspended, removal, the investigation, how that all plays out. Um, it's a rough one to kind of wrap your head around when all boils down to it. You can't just go at it, blindfolded and just sitting there saying, well, I believe this means, well, I want to see what evidence that, people are going to come up with when it comes to this and see how this all winds up shaking out. I mean, I don't know. I'm not involved in that camp. I'm not, obviously it warranted a investigation, them being removed, etc. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen over the next few weeks, months, years, whatever. We'll see what happens. But on that note, gonna switch it up and unfortunately, combat sports world, boxing world, however you want to put it, wound up losing yet another person of interest in our combat sports lives, people that we know and love. And unfortunately we lost the great Judge Mills Lane. For people who don't know, he's he was also a former boxer at one point in time. So Mills has been a referee for quite some time. And one of these guys that is synonymous with boxing. And for people who don't know, also Celebrity Deathmatch was also one of them. And obviously he was even more infamous as being the referee in the ring for the unfortunate Mike Tyson Evander Holyfield debacle, when we seen Mike bite his ear off. So, man, it's a rough one. We lost Jason David Frank. We've lost Anthony Rebel Johnson. We've lost a lot of people in the combat sports world. And even more so to that effect. People who've been following me long enough, and people who follow combat sports hard enough. We also had another very, very surprising and unfortunate death. People who know who Trap Gambino is, aka Travis Long, has been somebody I've always talked to over the years in the combat sports world. One of the few people who've reached out to me in one of the down times, but he's had a terrible week as his daughter got sick, and unfortunately she passed away this week. And it was a rare form of leukemia. It's just one of those things. There's nothing you can do about it. And just like, it's one of those things where your heart goes out to these people. It's just, we can't all control or destine when things are going to happen to family or us in life. But I don't think anyone can prepare you for, child. I don't even think she was 3-4 years old, not being with their family during this time of year. Now that's the thing they're going to remember. So, but with that being said, I believe our first guest is in the back. What is up, Mr. Jackson?
Oh, how is this? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Even better. How about now? Can you still hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
Hey, good. I mean, I had my I set my little for interviews and shit a while back, and then I ended up getting like some new mics, and I thought they was working until they wasn't. But we good.
I used to do this stuff all the time, like kind of set it up beforehand. Yeah. And like come in, like I always. That's why it's a little off this week. I normally have my producer and everything like that, so we sound check, make sure everyone's stuff's working all good. So I know how it goes. I mean, you in the media world, man. Sometimes it can be the simplest thing. Cord got jostled and it's not connected properly. Now your microphone ain't working, etc.
Dude, I did one a few months back, and that's exactly what happened. Like I was like, oh yeah, I'm ready to go, and it was when I first got the live mics. And I was like, yeah, let's go. And it was like, we can't hear you. And I was like, oh shit, what happened? And then I just forgot. I literally forgot to hit a switch on the recorder.
One boxer I had on, we had set up an interview a couple times, just didn't work, and then finally get it. And then it was like, I can't hear you. What?
All good, man. How are you?
The nuances of live interviews, media these days is interesting.
Dude, it's crazy. But I figured it out though. So from here on out, I'm gonna be good to go for anybody that we do these with.
Hey man, it's a beautiful thing. That was one thing I was talking to Eddie about getting the Zoom mic so we can get the actual mics instead of the USB plugins.
Yeah. I never used one of the USB. I've always had, because for me, I started when I was doing interviews, I started with like a handheld mic, that was tied. What the hell did I connect that shit to? I don't even remember, man. That's been like fucking 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
But I had the whole I remember
2012.
So I remember I was doing post-fight interviews, and so I was always like, this was like I said, like 2010, 2011. I was trying to like, man, I got spices up, and I ended up getting like a green screen kit. So I would post because at the time I wasn't doing photography, I was doing my video blogs. So like I didn't feel like I had to be there for like the whole sometimes I would miss like the beginning of fights because I was in the back doing interviews, but I bought like this green screen backdrop and everything, and I set up in the back. And then for the interviews, I would put, because at the time this was my first start, this was when Fury first, like the Fury wanted the early Fury cards. And so I'll put like the Fury logos and my logo, and I would replace the backstream. But man, that shit was so much work.
See, I like having my memorabilia in the background, but I do want to do stuff like when it's cleaner to kind of do something with green screen and stuff like that.
Yeah. But man, like I said, that was like shit, man. That was 10 years ago, man. It's a different vibe. So I have my interview. I like this set because I got my paintings behind me. I got Yasuke right here, first Black Samurai. Right here, I got a Basquiat painting with him with like some boxing Everlast gloves on, and then right here I have it's like a Black History civil rights scene with like a little kid white looking up, and this guy, the MLKs, Rosa Parks, all these historical Black figures. So this is my little.
You a memorabilia collector, Mike?
Yeah, man. I am an antiquer. Many people don't know that about me. I love antiquing. I love it for the nostalgia feeling mainly, but if I find something that I know will fit at the crib, I gotta cop it. So but I'm more like graphic and like vintage tees. That's my thing. But I collect, like I got some vinyl, some old vinyls I've been buying recently. I have some paintings and things like that. Like I've had I have a few William Tolliver paintings. I'm trying to think. I love Dr. Pepper. So I got like an old Dr. Pepper bottle.
A lot of the companies are more active on social, man. You should hit them up for a sponsorship for some of your media, man.
Dude, so I hit up Dr. Pepper years ago, right? And they're like, yeah, man, like we don't really sponsor, we don't sponsor people, stuff like that. But they ended up
give me an affiliate for a code or something, man.
I know, like I was like, yeah, something. But they ended up sending me like it was when I want to say was it the Batman? It was one of the Batman movies. Like it had to be at least 6-7 years ago. But they sent me like this dope like Dr. Pepper Batman gift. I still have it. Like it's pretty dope. So I appreciate Dr. Pepper. I love that. These are my vibes.
Some of that stuff you gotta put away sometimes. Be like, all right, they gave me some, but I'm gonna put one, and that one we're not gonna touch.
Man, hindsight, man, I think about that all the time because I have a bunch of like just old. Well, for me, it's mainly when I'm going through like old photos, like fight photos. Because for me, I like to post my little on this day in history on my stories on Instagram. So sometimes I'm going through photos, but then like I'll come to an event where I've posted the album or photos on Facebook, but back in the day, I was way ahead of the game, and I wasn't thinking about. I was ahead of the game as far as gathering the content and fighting, but I in the moment, I didn't think that the content was there. I was like, oh, I got it on Facebook. So to save space, because start buying hard drives cost money. At the time, it was like this is not a lot of money in this.
We all got our vices, right, brother?
Yeah, you know, so back in the day, I would upload the videos on Facebook, and then I would delete the pictures, the originals, and then the people when they start buying, I was like, oh shit, I need to keep these. But then by that time, like I have like some old school photos that only on Facebook now that I don't have anymore. But those like the history pictures. But I have a dope archive, you know, since I've been collecting those. So yeah.
All right, well, now we got comfortable. We got into the interview. Let's get into a few topics. We're gonna go over a few things in the combat sports world, and you know, wherever the conversation leads us, the conversation is gonna lead us today.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna start it off with a little controversial stuff. Do you believe James Krause and his team fixed fights? What are you buying out of this whole situation that's come about? I mean, obviously, he's had a few fighters removed. He's been removed. There's investigations both in Nevada and in Canada. There's a particular fight in question. You're on the media side of things, but you're also one of the few guys that's on the other side of who's been behind the curtain. You know what goes on in other type of situations where people may not have that eye. What was your gut feel in your first reaction, and how do you feel about this?
So I actually have a little insight on this. I'm gonna go back a little bit. So although I wasn't part of the Discord, I came about several months. I couldn't even tell you when he started the Discord, but I was, I was made aware of the Discord that he had probably about 4 months ago, maybe 3 or 4 months. Well, probably 3 or 4 months. Oh shit, maybe longer than that. Maybe let's say 6 months. I was privy to the Discord about 6 months prior to all of this blowing up, right? So put a pin in that. I'm real big in draft. Like a while back, I was real on the DraftKings side when it comes to fights. Nothing, not like serious, but if they giving me like, a bet's gonna cost me like, I can bet on a card for like $2 and figure out what happens. But randomly one day I get a message from FanDuel. What's the FanDuel, right? Or do DraftKings.
DraftKings.
I get an email from DraftKings, and it was like, "Yo, like we're suspending. You can't." Basically, they were like, "We won't let you bet on fights." And I was like, "What?" Like it didn't in my mind, like it hadn't registered. I was like, "Wait, what?" Like they're like, "Yeah, we don't let fighters bet on fights." And I was like, "Wait, how they know this email was a fighter's email?" Like I'm trying to figure out like how they got this information. But again, I'm not like betting. Like again, I'm betting $2 or $3 or whatever free money that they give me on the site. I'm essentially betting with it. So when they said I couldn't bet anymore, I was like, all right, whatever. So and then that happened. Fast forward, so I get that email. Fast forward 6 months, I'm made privy to the James Krause. Like, oh, James Krause, he got this Discord where he bets on. He hand out fight picks, and I was like, oh shit. That's cool. Like, I'm not thinking I'm gonna get to what my theory on it, but I was like, all right, that's a cool little thing. Then I figure out like I hear he's making like 80-85% plays, and I'm like damn, like I need to jump in the Discord. I need to something. But I'm like, man, I can't bet anyway from DraftKings, and I'm not getting Vegas. I was like, all right, whatever. So fast forward a few months after I found out about Discord, and I'm hearing chatter going on. It's like, like the dudes, he's making these plays, he's making like crazy money. And here's where this is the part that I had a problem with. If you're gonna do some wild shit, whatever, that's on you. My issue with it was when he started getting on these public platforms, these podcasts, and he's like, yeah, I make more money betting on fights than coaching. I'm like, yo, like, why would you say that on a platform when, you're the fighter, you're a coach, or whatever you're doing? So by this time, I'm running into James Krause a little bit more because, I have a lot of people from Houston who are kind of cross-training, who go out to Glory and train. He's affiliated with shit, I can't remember the management. James, one of the all the fighters are kind of like under the same management. I can't even think of it. Iridium. With Jason House, and shout out to Jason House, dope guy. That's my dude. So I'm seeing these. I'm starting to see James. I'm starting to see, and then I know a lot of his fighters because then they're either I know them personally from Houston or they're coming in and fighting locally. So I'm seeing him, and I'm like, and I give him a shout. Like I talked to him, chopped him up a little time, and he was like, I was like, yo, like how you feel on the outside? And he was like, I'm loving it. Cool. So fast forward, I'm hearing like the story. He's making all these big, make more money, blah, blah, and I'm like, yo, you gotta shut up, because in the moment, like this isn't a thing happening in MMA, right? So you're like the first guy. Like Joe Rogan said it a while ago on his podcast. I got these picks, whatever the hot crazy number, but no one really said nothing about it. When you have a fighter who's talking about an open platform, current. Well, I don't know if he's current. Well, no, he was current, and it was right when he retired. But then he's like opening a gym. He has a plethora of fights, so he's gonna have his fighters in his area. Then he's gonna start again. Got guys from Houston, got all over the country coming to your gym, and then you still talking about betting on fights in a large in this public space. That's gonna put eyes on you. Now, I feel he was just naive to the issue. I truly believe that, and here's why. Because I had a conversation on Twitter the other day where their issue with it is like, oh, you're going to get guys in MMA who potentially throw fights. And I think that's the issue, right? It's like, oh, you're going to have some manipulation on fights. Yeah, that's a possibility. But that's a possibility without betting on fights. Like I've seen some shit. We've seen the story where like the dude, like the bell rings and the guy, he doesn't even fight. He just taps. And you're like, wait, what happened? And it was like something because the other guy or whatever. Like the fight didn't even happen. The bell rings, the dude just taps out, right? That in a sense itself, right, is like fight manipulation in a way, right? But back to the MMA, this sport is so violent. There are dire consequences in the sport. And let's start with the local level. These people, like MMA culture is different. Like there's a lot of pride. We look at ourselves as warriors, and you're not gonna get people, I feel, given what people go through in MMA training wise, personal wise, trying to make it to the upper echelon. I do not feel at no part of my heart, I feel that a fighter who is willing to sacrifice all of these things to make it to the UFC, to make it to the top, I can't fathom those types of individuals doing anything felonious or anything that will bring attention in a negative way to the sport, because there's so much that you've sacrificed, you've invested money-wise, personally into this sport to take that risk. And that I'll even take boxing, right? In boxing, you can get away with that in a sense, because boxing, it has a longer history. The pay is vastly different, but the actual sport is like I can pull punches and all these things. Y'all saw me get kneed in the face. There ain't no way like that. And the reason I say that is because out of that whole fight, the one thing I never expected was for Pete to throw a knee, right? So let's say I'm in a situation where I got some inside info, or somebody's like, yo, Mike, like, we may need you to do a little something, for this fight, and, just give him the win, right? If I would have said, okay, and in the fight, and Pete don't know what's going on, and this dude knees me in the face, that's not worth the dive in itself. So to wrap it up and to the point, I feel that there's too much invested for fighters to make it to the UFC. These people, like UFC fighter, again, I'm an anomaly. So all my pay is free money for me. I'm literally that's fuck off money for me. Everybody else in the UFC, their objective, their mission is to be champion. You start, your opening pay is $12,000 and $12,000, right? I can't fathom someone busting their ass through the local level, making you starting off at like 500, maybe 1,000. I can't see someone putting their lives through this process to get all the way to the UFC and then finally, all right, I'm gonna throw a fight. That doesn't make sense to me.
So basically, in your mind, in your heart of hearts, you're just, you know, these guys are kind of the victim of James's
naivety.
How do I?
I'm not. And again, that whole thing with James, man, it was just he was talking too much. And what happens is when you get comfortable, you probably start talking to some people. And this is new stuff, right? This is new ground, new territory.
Yeah, obviously, like betting with all that stuff is kind of new when it comes to martial arts, and obviously it's becoming more of a thing. Like obviously, we just watched, the Falcons wide receiver just lost the entire season for betting on his own team.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's wild.
Yeah. The Falcons, was it Calvin Ridley? He got suspended for the entire season because he betted on the Falcons to win.
Dude, that's so crazy. I get the idea.
Like I just think where we're at in this day and age, like if you're an athlete, you should be able to go out and place bets on yourself.
100%. 100. It was funny. Like people were like, yo, you should have bet.
If you're doing it like that, I think that if you're on the up and up, like yeah, go ahead. You can investigate this. You can investigate this 100%. Game. You can investigate me. I'm not doing nothing.
Exactly, man. But like I said, it's a new thing. He was real reckless with it.
So on another side of things, I guess the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame just happened. So you would want Pete Rose in, right?
To the whole Pete Rose thing, I remember that years ago. Like I see no qualms with that. Like, I have no problem with Pete Rose being in the Hall of Fame at this point.
I was just saying because we went through a year last year. They didn't vote anyone in. This year we only get Fred McGriff. And not just some of the guys that me and you kind of grew up watching during that late 90s, early 2000 steroid era, but there's guys that are past that are long should have been in there.
Yeah.
And it's one of these things
100%.
like we look at like the UFC Hall of Fame. It's like it don't really take much. It's just like, you got to have a couple memorable fights. You don't even necessarily have to have a title run in you. You know what I mean? Just as long as you're entertaining, half the time you wind up on that wall somewhere.
But that's the way the sport is designed.
It's almost like some of these guys have to fight, crawl. I think one of the sports that has it right is the NFL. But I think like when you look at some of these other sports, when you look at the way Hall of Fame works, it's rough.
Yeah, for sure, man. Baseball my first sport, man. I love it.
Some other things. Before we get into some of the fights, obviously a little more drama going on in the combat sports world with Patty Pimblett and Dana White taking shots at Ariel Helwani. Helwani's taking shots back at him and stuff like that. So let me ask you, you're another one on both sides of this. Are you Team Patty or Team Ariel? What's going on here?
Okay, so I don't really know the situation fully. I don't know how it started. All I heard was Ariel's response to Dana. And that shit was some ether, bro.
He brought out the fire. He was like, I got a diss track for y'all. Hold
on. That shit was fire. But even like he was dropping facts though. He wasn't getting.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing. Like, as much as we get, you may not like the way Ariel goes about X, Y, and Z. You may not like, like people were like when the whole thing happened with him and Dana at UFC 205, and Ariel was 100% in the right. The only thing that he got mad at me about him is how he backed off of what he was initially going to do. He was like, remember he was like, I'm going to do my show and watch everything's going to come out, and he didn't really tell anyone anything. He kept it because he was trying to keep his contract, keep his job, and things like that. I was said, he's already going to burn you at this point in time, regardless when the contract is up or not. You might as well just let all the chickens fly now. And he's still, to this day, he still hasn't put that information out there.
Because he has integrity. Like, you have to understand, though, from him, from a person.
I understand you have integrity, but at the same time, when Dana White is literally trying to find And it's not even Dana per se. Like, it's just the UFC in general, how they run things, how they do things. He just wants to do everything he can to kind of discredit what he's doing. And then, unfortunately, Patty jumped on this boat when he was on Dana's White podcast. I don't know if he felt pressure because he was there. He just wanted to hop on and you know, he wants to get under Dana's wing. You know, maybe he feels like he could be the next Irish Conor McGregor in that new mold, whatever. I don't know. But I do know Ariel Helwani is one of those guys that had Patty on his show before he was even in the UFC, when he was Cage Warriors and all that. So when
what I remember, I heard they did Dana was on his podcast. But what tell me what happened?
Patty was like, okay, I guess he's mad because Ariel makes money and he wants to be like, well, he asked Ariel to pay him for his time. Ariel's like, I don't do that. He does.
I side with Ariel on it. Like, that's bullshit.
Pay her guests. Does, you know, Dick Van Dyke pay? Like, he was just naming like all the great interviewers of our time. Was like, do these people pay for their guests? No, they don't. For the most part, that's not how this works.
It's not how this works. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't get that.
I mean, I've had it happen to me. I the funny part is,
I wish a motherfucker would.
It happened to me this week, dude. Happened to me this week. This guy hasn't even had a fight in the UFC yet. Hasn't had a fight in UFC yet. Agreed to the interview. That he comes back to me 2 days later. He's like, I got to talk to my manager. Hold up a second. Oh, it's $100. You got PayPal, Venmo. I'm like, $100.
That is absurd. That is absurd.
I'm like, no disrespect whatsoever. I've had UFC legends on here. I've had Major League Baseball Hall of Famers. I've had X, Y, and Z. I've never had to pay for an interview. Wish you the best. Have a great fight, my friend. You know, no response, nothing.
Man, like, there's this new thing that I think it's the new wave where people feel this entitlement.
But like, I would get it if I was like a part of like a major, like,
no, there is no
or something. If like we have a disposable, if you're a big enough person on the, like, if I'm paying for anyone, it's gonna be way, way, way higher up on the list.
I don't. That's not what this is about. Like, if you're here to do it, if you're here.
If I was doing it, it wouldn't be just like, if I'm paying for something, it wouldn't just be for the interview. Be something on a multiple tier media thing.
Dude, right. If I'm paying for something, like, okay, so to the point though, if I'm interviewing someone, like when I'm doing my interviews, right back, I'm gonna bring those back here one day. A lot of times it's because you got something going on, right? So why would I pay you to promote what you have going on? Like, me interview, like, that's the trade-off is I'm interviewing you, I get the content for that, and in return, you get publicized. You know, and that's a problem for people. And this whole paying thing, right? Like, that's crazy. So to the point of Ariel doing his thing, that's absurd from Patty's point of view. That you feel for whatever, like, if you feel
for
like,
argument's sake, let's open that can of worms. And Ariel was on to a point of this. All right, if that's the case, then I want to be paid for travel to go to every one of your fights. I want a salary when I get there. Like, we can open a can of worms.
100%, and that's what I'm saying. That's the trade-off. Is like you gotta pick what you want, and for Patty though. I get the whatever little thing he's on right now, star power, whatever. I could care less about the guy. I'm sure he's big in Ireland, whatever. I could care less about him. But if you feel that someone needs to pay you to interview, I feel like he probably said that maybe because he doesn't like Ariel for whatever reason.
Oh yeah,
so
that's
don't
what
like
it is.
The guy, don't do an interview with him.
Getting out of doing the interview.
And that's, I mean, but just say no.
Like, we don't know about that's cool. You know what I mean? You can. That's just. Fair. You should just sit there and just say, like, I really don't feel up to it.
To the point, I had these guys, some little fucking white nationalist bozo. He's in the MMA field, and before the people, like, he was saying some white nationalist shit on Twitter, and I kind of checked him. And then when I find, like, he was, I'm like MMA media or something. I was like, I don't give a fuck who you are. So we're going back. Like, I kind of like, because I love antagonizing Snow Roach.
What does that even mean? MMA media.
And so he was like, "Why don't you come on my show and let's talk about it?" I was like, "I'm not patronizing your show. Like, I'm not gonna be on your show so you get content with me and you get to do whatever you want with it." It's like, no. So to the point, he reached out to do an interview. I could have told that dude, I was like, oh yeah, I'll be on your thing, pay me. Right? I could have got somewhere.
But see, that makes you look a certain way. People don't realize how it makes you look.
Exactly. There's no way. So to the point of me not liking this, right? I'm just gonna say no. Right? Patty could just say no.
But no, now I'm gonna give it a fight, man. I'll catch up with you afterwards, and then just come up with some other excuse.
Now that I know the story, he's for like I was indifferent on him. I didn't care less if he.
I'm indifferent too because I've never been team Ariel. Like I said, I've always felt that I explained it to you, dude. I felt like he should have put it out there.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Ariel. That's my guy. I actually reached out to him the other day.
Yeah, he's probably one of the best.
When I saw, because I had no idea about the story. But when I saw his ether, I texted. I was like, "Yo!" I was like, "My dude, that was fucking flaming." He was like, "Appreciate it." I was like, "Yo," like that, because that when I saw it that day, I think I woke. I was doing some shit, and I just like, "Oh, what's going on Twitter today?" And I said, "Ariel, oh, what?" And I saw it. I'm like,
"Oh," it'd be like, "Oh,
yo."
Like, no, we're not talking about fight week this week. We're talking about this right now.
Dude, yeah, but Pat, like, I have zero respect for him now for whatever reason. Like anybody who's like, "Yo, the media needs to pay me for him,"
but
like,
he's
that's
always.
bogus.
But here's the thing: like that's the one thing I can say about him. No matter what anyone throws at him, he don't get out of character for nothing.
I respect that. I respect it 100%, but I can't respect him for now as the personality.
He's never backed down from anyone. Rampage, nobody. That's the one thing you gotta like that. Tip your cap to the man.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I love it. That's my dude.
He's an OG. But and speaking of tip your cap, man, we lost another one, man. Mills Lane. We lost Mills Lane this week, man.
Man, that would suck. My thing about Mills, man, I ran into him in Vegas years ago for the Contender Series. It was the original Contender Series thing. He was out there, and everything I remember Mills Lane. He doesn't have anything. He didn't have any like cartilage or something like that shit in his nose or whatever, so he could like push his nose.
Yeah, he was one boxer too. People forget about that.
Yeah.
Not only is he a judge, he was an old school boxer too.
Yeah, I think it was like 10-1 as a pro or something like that. I can't remember what his record was. But yeah, man, respect to Mills Lane, man. He was definitely one of the original refs, popular
for a lot of us MTV junkies, celebrity deathmatch.
Oh my god, I was a huge celebrity deathmatch stand, man. So definitely,
and it was basically because of Mills too.
100%. No, he had that was his energy, man. He was one of them dudes who he didn't have to try. He was just himself, and people was attracted to that.
He's one of the few guys that became a character all into himself, and
and that's dope, man.
His job.
Yeah, that's dope. Shout out to Mills Lane, man.
I did find this old picture when I was searching through media. Him refereing one of Ali's old fights. I'm like, oh,
that's a clean one right there. Yeah, that's a clean one.
He's legit one of the OGs, and like I said, man, you also got to put out the fact he was.
That's right. I forgot he was a judge too. That's right. Shout out to Mills Lane.
Gotta throw some love to Mills Lane, but
he was diversifying, baby. He's diversifying before his time. Before the time he came through.
But now obviously we got some fights this weekend. Bellator's going on right now, but UFC 2.
Shout out to my guy Rafael Stots, baby, the champ, baby. Let's go.
Now, obviously, we know you got Yuri over there in the main event there. But who's some of your other fights to watch? Obviously, Patty's fighting my man Jared Gordon. So I definitely got to give some love there. Definitely looking forward to that fight. I was looking forward to that fight before Patty pulled the stuff this week. How do you feel Patty does against a guy like Jared Gordon? You think that's a real solid test step up for him?
It's definitely a big test up for him. After his last one, shit, why can't I think of my man's name right now? Who did he fight? Fuck.
Forget who he fought latest too.
Oh, I can't. Why? That's my guy.
I just know Jared's one of these guys, dude. Like I think a lot of people undervalue him. I think
100%.
And I don't even think he really cares. He's one of these guys. He takes these media opportunities and he just tries to show some light on the what people do who can kind of come back from that road. Like that dude, people tend to forget he has one of the greatest comeback martial arts stories ever. Dude, the dude died 3 times. You know what I mean?
A dude that's like, it's wild though. First of all, it's wild that he died 3 times. He's still fighting. Here's why I say that. Now, maybe because he didn't die inside of a fight, but years ago, I saw a dude die in the cage. I think he had a poor weight cut, and he got hit with like a side kick to the body, and then you see his this late reaction. He thought it was just like a body shot reaction, right? And then the dude goalie falls back, and then he convulses, and he goes into cardiac arrest, and they have to resuscitate him in the cage. He can't fight anymore. It's like, nah.
But see, I also think that played a part into why we don't have Rumble here right now, because he had some really, really gnarly weight cuts.
You think that played a role though into?
I mean, obviously, like there might have been, we don't know if there were some hereditary issues and things like that, but I think his extreme rapid weight cutting all the way down to 170 pounds, when that dude. There was no doubt he should have been walking around fighting at 205 a good portion of his career. What 2.5 years down at 70?
What do you remember the cause of his death was? I can't remember.
I think it was I forget what they said it was. I mean, I'm just sure whatever he was doing exasperated that whole thing.
Oh,
I know. I mean, it was something along the lines of like kidney failure and things like that.
But and it's possible. Here's the thing, man. Like people
don't understand like how dangerous that is when you cut, dude, like when you have a guy to cut like too much.
Cutting like that is a detriment to your health. It definitely cuts down on the long-term factors, like how long you'll live, and people don't factor that. But here's the thing, though, like that's the cost to play. People, if you're gonna be in this sport, if you're gonna do these types of things, right? You're trying to be great. You're trying to be the best fighter. You're trying to be champion. You're trying to do all these things. That costs. You have to understand that nothing in life is free. You have to pay some way. And when you're cutting weight, and you're not even a lot of people, the purpose of cutting weight is to get this weight advantage, which I feel is silly. Like my fight, I don't know how much it played a role, right? Because that motherfucker Pete Rodriguez was thick as fuck when I got in the cage with him. I fought at 176 pounds. Like I didn't put it on, which is crazy. I only put on about like 8 to 9. Only put on like 6 pounds that day. Because I'm not a weight cutter in that respect. For me, like to go to 55, me to 55, like that's a weight cut, and I have to like prepare myself, and I gotta do damage to my body. But what am I gonna gain from this? So you have all these people. The majority of people will never be champion. They're just passing through the sport. So you have all these people passing through the sport, doing doing irreparable damage to their body. You know what I'm saying? And everybody is going to affect differently. Some people, they'll be fine. Other people, for whatever reasons, underlying issues that they were unaware of, it may kill you in the long run. It may shave 10 years off your life, 12, whatever the price is, that's the price. So if you're willing to go out here and cut weight, think about the guys who fight 4 or 5 times a year. That's a 5 is a higher number, but let's just say 3 to 4 times a year. And again, I don't even like cutting weight, the little weight that I'm cutting. I'm sitting next to people where I'm in a sauna or whatever, and these dudes are cutting 20 pounds. I remember when for UFC 225, I'm walking. I was doing some arm with a sweat a little bit, and I ended up like taking. I fell asleep, and I woke up like 15 minutes before. Oh shit, I gotta go. As I'm going down to the weigh-in, I'm walking this way, coming out the weigh-in room, and like we're doing this number. I walk right past Yoel Romero, but when I walked past him, I didn't know it was Yoel Romero. I just saw him yesterday, the day before, press conference was Wednesday. When the press conference? Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. So Thursday, I'm at the press conference. You see the ballooned up Yoel. And then, like, I don't know, 18 hours later that morning for weigh-ins, I walked right past him, and I didn't even know that was him. Because he had dehydrated, and I don't even know if he made weight that.
That's the thing. Like some of these guys got it so well like laid out they can figure out their window where they know they can weigh that weight at the right time, etc., etc. Like, but some people they'll never get a hold of it. I don't.
Well, because it's a science to it, but it's a detailed science. You got to be like precise. Like I'm talking to people who are meal prepping and doing all these things because they got to be like right here on this particular day. Who I was talking to? I was with Kevin Holland. I was running to him. This was maybe about 2 or 3 fights ago. And when he was going to 170, I was like, what are you doing? He was talking about, he was like, yeah, I got the dietitian, nutritionist. And they was like, I got to eat this at this time and this at this time. And I'm like, yo, like that's not a sacrifice or a cost that I want to pay. I love to eat. People know me for the Truth Food Tour. I like to go around the country eating dope food. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying
next thing you know,
I'm going to eat
fighting in middleweight.
Easy.
Speaking of middleweight, what about this one for tomorrow night? The Action Man, Chris Curtis and Joaquin Buckley, man.
Man, 2 of my guys, I love them both, man. Shout out to Chris Curtis and Joaquin. This is going to be a tough one. I feel overall. Here's why. You have Chris, who he's going to have the experience. He's going to have the. I feel he has a more complete game. I've trained with Chris. We moved around, and even to this day, like I'll give away something I never said on public. There are 2 people that I've trained with that have hit me the most, and that have been the toughest tests in training. Chris Curtis is one, and the other is Trevin Giles. These are 2, because I feel I have high level striking, so I like to go in there with some guys who can put it out too. And when I'm in there with those 2, I'm like, yo, like this is I really gotta like focus and pay attention and try not to get hit, but they still touch me. Shout out to Joaquin. He, on the other hand, I feel he's gonna be more athletic. He's gonna be more explosive. He's gonna have more like dynamic level of striking. But Chris is gonna have the advantage. I feel with the experience in his style. Yeah, it's just a tough one to call, but I feel either one of those.
Like everyone's like upset because we lost this fight, we lose. I'm like, listen, there's still plenty of meat to grind on this card.
Oh man, this is gonna be it's gonna be solid.
I think another one that should be.
I don't even know the card. I can't even tell you the card.
Chris Dawkins is, he was this close to a title contender fight, dropped his last 3. Then they give him was it Jared Rosenstrike they gave him this tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. That's a tough one, man. Heavyweight is dangerous as it is, but when you got a hitter like that, boy, that's a crazy one to go with. I like Rosenstrike in that one based off his experience and just his pop. But again, we have another fighter in Dawkins that.
Well-rounded guy.
He's well-rounded. He's well-rounded, and he can definitely finish this fight.
Not the greatest striker, but like not, definitely not at the bottom of the barrel. Has really good jiu-jitsu, has decent wrestling. He's Philly tough. He's a cop. You know what I mean?
Jairzinho. How you say his name? Jairzinho?
Yeah, dude, his name, man. That's fun, right?
Whew, that's a tough one.
Is it Jairzinho?
Jairzinho. I'm gonna go with Jairzinho. Yeah, here we go. Jairzinho. Final answer.
Now, obviously, this year in MMA has been nuts, right? Obviously, we've just got into the last month of the year here.
Uh-huh.
We've had 2 two surprising title changes in late rounds. Would you have predicted at the beginning of the year you would have not one but two title holders being stopped in the last round?
You know, I don't really get into like I don't put that much stock into it. Like when I like, oh, who's gonna keep their belts? I don't really focus on that.
I'm just saying, like there were both fights that you could arguably say that both the champs were winning and they were both stopped. It just doesn't. You don't really see like a lot of times that happens. It's just like it's a quick change. It's not like the champions dominant the whole fight and then boom.
Yeah, man, but that's high level fighting, though, dude. Like that's the thing about this sport.
Everyone's sitting there saying like, "Oh, football's a game of inches." I'm like, man, if you gotten cracked in the chin and it just went a quarter inch too fast,
I'm to do here, man. Yeah, I mean that's it. They both can be true, right? They both. I think they're both are tight, respect in their respective ways, but in fighting is so intimate, like it's one-on-one. And I'm in there, and I love training, and I love boxing. I love the striking aspect, the striking art. So one thing I enjoy doing, like I like being in these games with people where I'm right out of this, like I'm right in range, but like I know you can't hit me. But there's dangers to that, right? If
you play with I'm
gonna go back to my fight. I'm gonna go back to my fight with Pete. I remember the fight, and I remember I just fucked up. But in the moment, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this little shit right here because again, I'm not expecting the knee to come. Oh, I'm gonna do this little shit over here. He gonna do that, and then I'm gonna be out the way. As I'm doing this little shit, he's sitting the knee. There is no, and I saw the knee coming. I couldn't do nothing about it. You know, but and the damage that it had, it was placement. If it was an inch to the left or inch to the right, it may have missed. I may have been fine. I come out and whatever happens, but I wouldn't have been knocked out with the knee, right? That's how tight this sport is. It's that
It literally is, man. It literally is so much. I guess it got one for you. How about this one? Obviously we're getting ready to go into the new year, right? No. What's the one weight class you think fans should look out for, and what's the one matchup you really need to see happen?
Oh my gosh. I am so bad at this because there's so many options out here for me because I'm so involved in the sport.
I love the depth at 170 pounds right now. Like, all right, Usman's out the way. You know, you got Bullah Muhammad knocking on the door. Obviously, he just knocked off undefeated Sean Brady, who could very well within 2 years get right back up that ladder and make some damage there. He's a very well.
Man, 2 years.
I mean, I still think 170 pounds, your division right there, man, is quietly one of the premier divisions in the UFC.
It is, and here's why people don't. The reason why is because of what the weight is. The weight that's going to be.
I think it's the perfect weight in between.
It's like the perfect weight. It's more like it gives an accurate depiction of society. This is going to be a more median weight for society, right? So you're going to have a lot of top tier athletes come, and then you're right in that little sweet spot that 85 is too, like the 15 pounds going to 85, like that's a lot. But also the 15 pounds going to 55 is a lot. Like, so I look at myself, I look at me going how I feel when I'm like 200 pounds, 195, 200. And I'm like, man, like, I don't know. And I'm thinking about how, if I get down to 85, like how it would feel. And I'm like, there is no way because I know these guys are coming from 220 on up. On the flip side, me trying to make 55 and understanding the detriment and the damage that's going to do to my body and how I'm going to feel, like, I don't know. All these 170ers are feeling the same way. So that's why I feel you're going to get a lot of people who are going to clamor to that division particularly, right? 55 and 70, but more so than 70. So you're going to have the more opportunities to get these high-level fights and these high-level athletes, man, and who put on great fights. So it's just a sweet spot in the weight classes.
Fight you need to see. Do you care?
I'm gonna have to go.
John Jones. Like, what's the one, man?
Man, see, I forgot about that. You know, I want to see anything with Adrian Yanez. That's my guy. I love watching him, and I just love watching him fight. But Matt, man, I definitely want to see. I want to see the John Jones Stipe fight. And I'm not even a guy who
just
really
said it
wants
right there.
fight.
It's Stipe. He has to fight Stipe first. I don't want to see him fight Ngannou first. No.
No, you
got to pay penance, John. You the 205 goat, no doubt. You got to pay penance, bro.
You have.
I've been super critical of him over the last 5 years, man. He's still 205 goat, but I won't even give him goat anymore just because of what he's done.
Nah, you can't. Nah, I disagree with that. Nah,
so do I, but it's just that's just who I am as a person.
Fair. That's fair.
I wholeheartedly, openly admit I am biased in it. I watched John from the beginning. He was one of the guys I've always rooted for. It's just you get to a point. It's just like, you know what, John has to win me back. I still love him. He is one of the best 205-pounder fighters in the world. We're gonna find out if what he's done over the last few years has made him the best heavyweight in the world. We'll find out over the next year.
Man, I agree, but here's also right. Here's the other thing is that the heavyweight, when you look at who the heavy,
there's so many. Listen, John has had problems with long guys. Guys are where John really does well, where he's the guy that still dictates the range. You control the range with John. I want to see what happens then.
Yeah,
but then also you still got to.
I'm gonna address that.
Insane power at heavyweight.
Right, let me address that. So first, I'm going to start by saying the heavyweight. When you think about the heavyweight champion being the baddest man on the planet, the pound for pound great, all those things. When you talk about heavyweight champions, so when you bring, even though I know you're a 205 GOAT and all these things, when you're coming up to that realm, like that's a different realm. 205 to 260, that's 60-pound difference potentially. That's a whole new realm, a whole new sphere. As opposed to like a 85 to 205 or a 70 to 85, right? Those different things. This is a different space. So for John Jones to step up in that manner, I don't feel anybody, it doesn't matter who the person is. I don't feel that person can step up in this manner and just like, yo, I deserve a title shot. You have to pay to play. And the cost is you have to go somewhere still high level, but not the champ, and see how you fare. A former champ is a perfect step for him, and I think this is a dope matchup because I think he's gonna. I honestly feel he's gonna stop Stipe.
The only person
then
that's
we get
but is Ngannou.
Yeah.
No, just
so I feel he stops.
They traded fights. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I feel he stops Stipe, but before we even see what he can do against Ngannou, we have to see that. We have to see how he looks as heavyweight. We have to see how he moves at heavyweight. All these factors that come in that don't matter at 205. So I have to see that first to even determine if that's the move. But despite that, before we get there, I feel he beats Stipe.
And I love Stipe.
So that's your question of the fight I want to see. I want to see John Jones and Stipe.
That is the fight to see. As far as I'm concerned, when we're talking to Conor McGregor, dude, I don't want to hear about it anymore. Go to Hollywood. He's in the middle of a legal battle with Artem now because apparently he sold the whiskey company, and I guess he didn't give Artem his.
Oh, that's what he did. Oh, I know about it. I heard, and Shimon, even with that,
now he's like offering to fight. I'm like y'all two need to stop, man.
That's why I think
money changed people, man.
Wrong.
Money changed people.
I think here's the thing about Conor. Like, and I've had this conversation with people about him and all these things. Because people like
my son loves him, and I told him I don't want you to watch him anymore. I don't. My son's like 11. He loves him because his name's Conor, and I was just like, no. Anything that's not actually in the cage, you're not allowed to watch anything that has.
So the thing about Conor, right, that a lot of people may not know. So I know Conor's photographer from back in the day, And essentially, Conor is like a street thug who happens to be good at fighting, right? So when you take someone from a particular environment, right? And then again, he's out here chasing a drug dealer. He's doing all these things in the streets, right? So if you take someone from that background and then you put them in a sport where it's violence, it's fighting, like you essentially you can legally assault someone, right? And then so you're reinforcing the negative behavior of assault and all that violence, right? But then you give them millions of dollars. And then because they're in a position to make millions of dollars, they got a little bit of leeway on some of their behaviors, right? Nothing in this is telling me that you're trying to reform your previous. All you're doing is reinforcing the shitty behavior. So when you have a dude who's essentially like he's a thug, and then you give a thug a bunch of money. Why would you be surprised when he does thuggish things like throwing dollies through windows? And he's just a thug with money. Look, think about it, right? Think about it. Think about it in a gang scenario, right? You got some gangs going at it, and your boy, he's just around the block, but he can't get you because he ain't got a car. It just so happens that this dude can get on a PJ. He can get on a private jet and fly across the country. He's still a thug. He's just a thug who can get on a private jet. So when he does these things, there is nothing that he's done where I was like, oh my, I'm so surprised. Like, if he does something, I'm like, oh shit, that was foul. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. So to the point of Conor, man,
are you going to watch the remake of Roadhouse?
For shits and giggles, yeah, I want to see how bad it is. Why not, bro? I want to see how bad it is. I really wanted to see Ronda Rousey in there, though. I was really interested. I was really intrigued when they said she was going to be I don't know if she was going to.
See, I think what it was is that they made. If you go back and watch that, I think Conor's going to be the villain guy that Dalton kills at the end of the movie.
Ooh,
that's who I think it is. Dalton? That's who I think Conor's role is, and I think that's the role.
I believe so. I believe so.
And Ronda's like, no, I want to be Dalton.
Yeah. Oh, so you think Ronda's still going to be Dalton?
I love her to death, but you can't tell me that's not what happened.
Oh, so you think that's why they didn't make the movie?
I think she wanted to make a female Dalton. It didn't happen. They wanted her to be the mixed martial arts specialist that gets killed at the end, and it didn't work.
Oh, ooh, that's a nice little fan theory right there. Oh, I like that. That's plausible. I like that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. You never know.
I'm gonna watch it.
They can make Conor the bouncer buddy at the bar or something for Dalton. You know what I mean?
Nothing tells me Conor can act.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I agree. Shits and giggles.
I do care. There's nothing telling me Conor McGregor can act.
Take a look at it. Let's see if I let my kid watch it or not. Whatever. But
no, you can't let that kid watch it.
And speaking of Ronda, you hear these comments that she's been making that WWE fans are more loyal and hardcore than MMA fans?
I agree 100% with that. 100%. What?
You think MMA fans are fickle?
Fuck! Oh my God! Yes. What? Wait, was that a serious? Were you saying? Were you asking me that as a jest, or was that a serious question?
I just wanted to see what you were going to say, brother.
Oh, okay. I was like, hell yeah! Oh my God!
Yeah, man. I mean, you do have to admit, you have the Ronda hardcores. All of a sudden, they turned into Cyborg fans or Amanda Nunes fans. I'm like, wait, what happened to y'all?
Man, I was talking to somebody. This is an old school line right here, but we talk about how MMA fans' logic is like, oh, you're only as good as your last fight. It was like, what does that even mean? Like, it's fighting. Like, if you're a fan, you're a fan.
I think there's peaks and valleys when you have MMA fighters. Sometimes you're high, sometimes you're real low, sometimes you're on your way up, sometimes you're on your way down. But I think MMA fans it's what have you done for me lately type of thing. And I think the only person that should have that type of mindset in this sport is the promoter, never the fan.
100%. I can respect that. If a promoter don't like the thing when Dana and I went through, that didn't even bother. I didn't know, whatever. I didn't care. I didn't lose any sleep over that. Like, it didn't bother me. But from a fan's perspective, if you're a fan, and here's why I say that. I know people. I've heard people who, before a fight happens, the dude is there. Oh, they supporting. 15 minutes later, oh, you suck. And you like, wait.
Yeah, and it's fine because he cost them money on a stupid bet.
And I can't respect that
thing ever. Like the same thing when you see NFL players. You cost me money because you stopped on the 2-yard line.
Sorry. You're not a fan.
My money's more important than your money. Sorry.
Fans are wild. But you know what? I was having a conversation earlier today. Fan is short for fanatic. You cannot forget that. Fan is short for fanatic. These people are crazy. They're crazy. I'm a fan of a sport. Basketball is my favorite sport. The Rockets are my team. But like if they lose, like, all right, they lost. It's a game. Like, all right.
We got to do a watch party one of these times. You know, next time like the Sixers and Rockets play.
Yeah.
Do a little live react. Have some fun.
I'm with that. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. I'll be down. I'll definitely down with that. That'd be dope.
Yeah, I'm working on a little bit more stuff with that. Like since I left my last platform, I want to, doing some stuff with Belly Up here. We having some fun. You know what I mean?
I dig that. I dig that. Shout out to you.
we got to get you a little more involved over here. It's fun, man.
Yeah. Oh, I'm with it. I'm just I'm chill at the crib, man. Watching fights and day trading and shit. So I got time.
Yeah, that's something I want to do. I want to wait to like get one of the bigger pay-per-views probably at the beginning of the year or something like that, like the Super Bowl one.
Yeah. Oh, I'm with it. That'd be dope.
See we do it like a little watch party, have some fun, do some bets.
Real quick on the card though this weekend, I want to give a shout out to my guy, Alex Morono. Stepping up on 5 days notice to take on Ponzinibbio.
That's G shit right there. 5 days.
G shit. Alex Morono, man, this is one of my dudes. So I've been knowing Alex since he was 17. He and I, we fought on, I think it was my second amateur fight, maybe his first. I think he cornered me in my fourth amateur fight. We've been friends since 2008, 2009. I've been there to document his journey through the ranks. I remember he got bit in one of his fights. He got bit in the chest. That shit was gnarly. But to see his success in the journey, he has his own. He took the school that he started training at. He now owns that gym, Gracie Baja in the Woodlands. I've always been a big supporter of his and always been a fan of his style. Like the dude's he's crazy sick on the ground with the jiu-jitsu. That's how when I first met him, he was a jiu-jitsu player. That's all I knew about him. But he has this fighter's man. He's a banger, bro. He just want to go out there and slay his hand. And he don't have the best striking. Like he don't have the best punches. He don't care. He's like, if you want to take me down, fine, and I'm gonna strangle you or some shit. But man, he throws bangers. I've seen him like decimate cats on the feet. I'm excited. Again, take this fight on 5 days' notice with a killer and Ponzinibbio. And with this win, we saw what he came out, what he did to Cowboy, and how that fight went. I'm really excited. That's the fight that I am most excited about this weekend is Alex Morono and Santiago Ponzinibbio. Santiago, right? Whatever, Ponzinibbio. I forget his first name. So many people.
But
I'm really excited about that fight.
A question in the chat room. I didn't even notice, so I feel bad for him. But do you happen to know who Gage Young is? He's, I guess, a young MMA fighter.
Yeah, no, I'm unfamiliar with the Gage Young. I don't know if he's from the only young cats I know are going to be from Houston or from somewhere in Texas. If you're not from here, I don't know who you are.
Yeah, I think where is he from?
Gage Young. He sounds like he could be from Texas with a name like
the Kansas, Missouri area. That's where he's from.
Oh, I don't. I'll be out there. No, I don't know. Maybe get him on a Fury card or somewhere these days.
That's what he needs to do. He needs it because he's fighting at FAC or something like that. Yeah, he needs to get on like Cage Fury or King of the Cage, something like that. RFA, he needs to get on the radar.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what cut is.
Blake, make sure you tell your young friend Gage Young to let's get him on some bigger regional shows to get some more eyes on him, my friend.
For sure.
5-0 is a good start.
Don't rush, man. Like I know, like these kids, man, they go 5-0 and they be like, I'm ready to go UFC. I'm like, bro, like y'all don't like you need to slow your roll, young fella. Build that record up. Build. Get that
I was just telling you about Brady. Like when my kids were training at Daniel Gracie's gym, what was it, like 2015, 2016 when Felder first came in? I was watching Sean, and dude, like Daniel was sitting there telling me, what was it, like 6 years ago? It was like this kid's gonna be in the UFC, he's gonna be the welterweight champ one day. I'm like, I don't know about one. We'll see. Everyone has their time in their run. What was he? He started off 15-0, 16-0.
That's always a crazy. When people say that, it's like, yo, such as gonna be champion. Like that's such a crazy thing.
It's a crazy weight to put on somebody too.
Like
he did win a regional title, so we'll see if he gets the other one.
The odds of becoming champion in any organization, any promotion, whether it's a regional, whether it's UFC, particularly UFC though, the odds are so slim.
I mean, you got to think we're only 25, 30 years in this sport. Have less than two handful of title holders in each weight class.
And think about the people who've come through, who've come and gone.
I think guys have won the title and could never defend it. Forrest Griffin was one.
I mean, there are a few. There are a few.
That was kind of fluky though.
I mean, that was just a time.
I don't want to take anything away from that. You stop George St. Pierre, that ain't nothing to write home about.
It was just a time.
I think he showed it up when they went back at it the next time. It was a completely different fight.
Right. That's fighting, man.
That's
the nature of this shit.
Well,
man.
look what happened with Amanda and Juliana Pena. Juliana Pena wipes the mat with her the first time and gets her out of there. And the second time, Amanda's doing the same thing to her.
I did not expect that the first go round. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, no one did. Like the first time that happened, it was just because at that point in time, no one we couldn't even wrap their head around it because what Amanda had done.
Yeah.
Like we talk about John's run. Look what Amanda did.
Yeah, when she came through, I was really impressed.
Like you got to remember when she came up, it was just like, oh, she ain't. Who's Amanda Nunes? Amanda ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah, she really impressed me.
Destroys Holly, destroys.
The Ronda one though. That's what people don't get, man. Like the Ronda destroyed people.
She was the. I'll say it this way. She was the best one-trick pony you will ever see in combat sports.
100%.
Because that trick was so goddamn good. Like people.
It wasn't even that. It wasn't even that. Let me tell you what it was. It wasn't even that. It wasn't even that. It was that 100%. Her one trick was superior to everybody's ability. But here's the thing, right? And the reason I say this is because I remember when when I first met Holly Holm, and I saw her fight. And she kicked some shorty's head off and sent it to the rafters. I was like, oh my God, like this is style. Styles make fights, right? Particularly in MMA and women's MMA at the time, all of the high-level athletes and fighters, their primary base of some sort was a grappling base, whether it's wrestling, whether it's jiu-jitsu, whether it's judo, whatever. For Ronda, her judo was just far superior. Her grappling was far superior than everybody, right? So what happens is,
when you have Olympic level grappling, it's different.
Huh?
When you have Olympic level grappling, it makes you different.
Whatever, 100%. But whatever the level, like, it was a high level, yes. Right? You have her opponents, their main base was also grappling, but it just wasn't as good as Ronda's. So again, their style, they had to get close to Ronda to be effective. Well, Ronda, she get close to you, she dump you on your head. That's why you saw chicks toward the end, they start coming out like trying to box her and shit. Because they're like, all right, I can't get close to her. So when you have the Holly Holm, I remember where I was when that whole thing happened. I remember all that happening. And given this, again, because again, I'm watching Holly fight live and I'm watching her footwork and I'm like, yo, like she got some crazy movement. Her lateral movement was phenomenal.
People underestimate Holly's way to cut angles, man.
And then she's southpaw too. And then that was the other thing people don't understand. When you have that switch stance, that's an advantage if you know how to use it. Her particular style was perfect for those deep angle cuts. So when she's doing the thing with Ron, I was like, yo, like, because Ron, I was like, there's no way Ronda's going to be like, that was the only way I was saying. The only way Ronda really has a slim chance is like some way, Holly like stumbles and Ronda can grab her. If she can't grab her, it's a wrap. And so, boom, Ronda tries to grab her. Holly shucks her and and punch her head. That was the way it was supposed to play out like that, given Styles making fights.
I still think she was meant to be in the WWE anyways.
I mean, I hear they don't like her as a champion.
I hear they don't like her either, but that's also just some people like they have that personality just rub you the wrong way.
I didn't really like the eye makeup she had on personally, but I don't know anything. I watched a couple of matches.
This one up, man. As we're talking, WWE and MMA, you fought in one that made the crossover in Phil, right? Who would you like to have seen, either current or in the past, would have liked to seen compete in MMA?
Ooh, that is a great
Because I still think there's some women that I would like to see fight.
That is a great question. Shit, China. Let's go. China's going to murder all the chicks and 10 women.
China's definitely.
China's gonna murder everybody, bro.
There's a couple of the lighter weight guys that you would have liked to see like you imagine Rey Mysterio and
I was just thinking him.
I was thinking him.
I was thinking him.
Fight, man.
I was thinking him. I was thinking Rey Mysterio. That would be fun, man. I like that one too. But man, I want to see China just for the shits and giggles. Like she's gonna fucking wash Gabby Garcia, and then she's gonna get like Cyborg, and she's gonna like power drive her or something. I don't know, man.
What, is it tonight or tomorrow?
Ooh, maybe tonight.
Yeah,
the 10th. Today,
Gabby Holloway. Yeah.
Or maybe tomorrow. She DM'd me though. I don't even know if Cyborg runs her Twitter, but she be DMing me. Hey, check this out. All right, like
it's her management.
Okay. Maybe, hey, check this out. I'm like, all right. But I've always been a Cyborg fan.
I was lucky, we're talking Holly, Chris. I was lucky I was on when they shot Fight Valley was right around like 30 minutes from me.
Oh, nice. Okay.
My kids got to meet, like Chris, Holly, Misha, all them.
Oh, that's dope. Shout out to Misha Tate. She competing next week at the Jiu-Jitsu Invitation at the Apex. I'm gonna go out to that.
It's crazy how everyone hated her during that Ronda run, and now everyone loves her.
Because in that moment, people was blindly following Ronda. Like I remember that. I was like, "Yo, Ronda is an
some of the layers started falling off, and everyone started seeing what was in that onion."
I was like, Ronda's an ass. Like, and again, I'm a Ronda Rousey fan. It's then now, whatever. I love what.
But you had to love that persona. She was an asshole.
100%. But in the moment, I'm like, yo, like, and again,
that's what you wanted. You didn't want that's what women's mixed martial arts needed right there. They didn't need the beautiful girl, the well-spoken girl, whatever. They needed a bad motherfucking bitch, and that's what they got.
That's what they got. Oh yeah, because Gina Carano wasn't cutting it, and fuck Gina Carano, she's a piece of shit.
Now that's someone that I wish we could have gotten a few more years with. of active competition.
Well, she ran the Cyborg, and Cyborg took all that.
You know, I'm good.
Cyborg took all of the desire away.
I can't blame her, yo. She's been in Marvel. She's been in Star Wars. She's been doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, but she's definitely a piece of shit. So whatever.
Definitely a special one. But as we get ready to wrap this one up, Mike, you know, as we always do, kind of throw the proverbial microphone over you. Anyone like to thank trainer partners, teammates, any sponsors you have, anything you might be doing, you know, outside of combat sports? The time is yours, my friend.
Man, right now, you know, we're doing a dope for time. I'm on vacation right now. The most I've done has been nothing. I got on a stationary bike yesterday for a few minutes. I've been on vacation. Here's the thing, man. I've been training essentially since 2008. Whether I'm fighting or not, I've been consistently training, man. And I've taken a little time off here and there, but this was my first nice little break. I had surgery. Got my face fixed. Had to get surgery. You can't chew for like 2-3 months. So I was like, well, fine then. I'm just gonna do nothing and just hang around. So I watch a lot of TV. I catch up on my shows. I'm a day trader, so I've always been into trading stocks, man. So that's what really keeps me going. We're working on the Shits and Giggles apparel line. You know, we're trying to get that going. But yeah, man, everybody can follow me on the Twitter. It's @TheTruthJackson. My Instagram is Shits and Giggles brand. I post dope content on there with the photography. You get behind the scenes content at MMA events. So yeah, man, that's really what keeps me going these days, man. And I got a steel plate in my face right now, like titanium or some shit. I don't know. I haven't had a problem flying at the airport, so I appreciate them for that. I thought that was gonna be an issue. But more importantly, I'm just ready to get back to eating solid foods because I have been missing.
What's the one thing once all that situated is you gonna tear up immediately?
Well, I'm a little inside of my brain, right? And I'm gonna let you go. So fight week, the whole time I'm thinking about like, well, after this fight, I'm going home, I'm eating steak and lobster. Steak and lobster. That was all that's been on my mind. Again, I'm in the fight. I see the knee coming. Boom. I wake up in the ambulance, right? And the first thought was like, damn. Because I already knew it happened. Like, I knew it happened. But all I was like, damn, I ain't going to be eating no steak and lobster. Because I was going to eat steak and lobster Sunday. And I was like, and when I came to, I was like, and they were like, you know where you are? And I was like, yeah, I know where I am. And I was like, in my head, I was like, damn, I ain't going to get no steak and lobster tomorrow. That's where my mind was, right?
Yeah, I mean,
when I get back,
you didn't buy it already, had it waiting for you. You know what I mean?
Ah, that would have sucked.
That would have been terrible. Like you already had it ready. Like, all right, fight gets done. I should be back about like 8-9 o'clock. Make sure that's ready. Nope. You got to take a ride to the hospital.
That was so asshole. So yeah, food, man. Trading stocks and shit, and taking pictures. And in about January, I'll be back to eating solid food.
Damn, so you even gonna make the Christmas holiday on top? Well, at least you get the Super Bowl, right? Super Bowl parties.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, Thanksgiving was interesting because I did like the mac and cheeses and I did like the dressing. I did all the soft foods. I didn't have any meat for Thanksgiving. So it's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same.
See, here's the thing. Now, how do you view Thanksgiving? Is Thanksgiving about the turkey, or is it about the pies?
Oh, shit! It's about the mac and cheese.
I'll give you that one. Mac and cheese. I'm not gonna disagree with that, man.
I'm a mac and cheese kind of.
No, I mean, I'm a Thanksgiving baby. You know, my birthday's the 27th, so.
Oh shit!
So I wound up going to the Eagle game, right? You know, days afterwards.
Okay, I have to. I know how people are like Christmas birthdays. How is Thanksgiving birthdays?
See, sometimes it falls on it, sometimes it don't. So, like I think it's.
But like, what's the celebration again? I know what's the celebration. I've never met anybody whose birthdays are on Thanksgiving. So what's the birthday Thanksgiving celebration?
I was just like you already Thanksgiving. You just add a birthday cake to it. You know what I mean? I mean, at that point in time, what's the point of making any like?
I cannot imagine Thanksgiving with a birthday cake.
I
right
injected
there.
my
Crazy.
birthday into Thanksgiving. I got you all here, guys. Where's my fucking presents?
I mean, I get I mean, the benefit I probably would think is birthday Black Friday. I would think that'd be dope. You get way less. The gifts are way less expensive.
They jack the prices up right before they they give you your discount. So,
I mean, that's because y'all are poor shoppers. That never happened. That had never happened to me. If I'm going for it, well, I don't do that shit no more. When I was younger, I did it. Now I just order online.
Maybe I just got everything I need, and I haven't been able to find those deals that are worth it anymore.
Getting
too old.
Fair enough.
Man, Mike, it's always a pleasure, my friend.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll say this much: we definitely got to do it again sometime soon. You know, heal up, get some food in you, get some good food in you. You know, some fatty meats.
Bro, I'm still like, I got on the scale the other day. That shit said like 172.
I can already have an idea. He's gonna have like 3 different meaty meals that first day that stuff comes out.
Bro, I don't even know what I'm eating that day. I don't even know.
He's like, it's whatever my heart desires that day.
100. Whatever I wake up in the vibes, that's what. I'm not gonna even lie. I guarantee you it's gonna be a burger. That's my shit. So it's gonna be a burger.
We got to get you over here and get a real Philly cheesesteak too, brother.
I'm with it. I've had one real one in my life. I've had one real.
We'll do a little tour around town.
My man, I appreciate you.
All right, everyone. This is episode 13 of Combat Deviants. I'm Steve. That's Mike the Truth Jackson. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, and we will see you guys next Friday, same time, same place. Have a good one, everyone.